you must be... what are your thoughts on this? Because Ed Miliband may be persuaded to reopen drilling and new licences in the North Sea for oil and gas. Surely that's a good thing, given the situation that we're in.
Well, the topic of this that you're just talking about, the windfall tax, they were talking about winding it down. Because what was the windfall tax? The windfall tax is imposed when there's an oil crisis. And what happens in an oil crisis, the price of oil shoots up, the oil companies make a huge profit, British consumers are hammered, the British government has to subsidise them, and the whole thing cost last time round £100 billion to the economy and £70 billion to the exchequer. So that windfall tax is trying to claw back some of that for taxpayers, because if we don't, it goes on to the debt and we pay for it in higher government debt services. And we only made £6 billion back out of the £70 billion we paid out. So that makes sense during a crisis. So when the crisis eased...
Does it, though? Because... The operation of the price system in a market economy is to incentivise new producers to go where they may make money. So if there's a reduction in supply of a good or a service and that price goes up, that is not just a price that has been imposed because those people are being mean and nasty. That is actually a functioning incentive for more people to come in and provide that good and service because they can make money, and then you get more supply and the price comes down. That's the price mechanism.
No, what you're talking about is a normal market mechanism, which is correct. But when there is another Israeli oil crisis caused by war, then we don't have a market system, we have a market blockage. And what happens then is the oil companies profiteer and the government gets hammered. The idea that the Tories want us to actually give £70 billion to the oil companies and the taxpayer pick up the tab is nonsense.
But we're not giving this money to them, because ultimately we are taxing these companies at, what, 80% for the oil that they produce. If we reduced that to a more meaningful level of tax, we might actually produce more revenue if there is more production that is there for instance.
That would make sense if Britain was a new oil power. We're not. The oil in the UK peaked probably before you were born, 1999.
After I was born.
Okay, just after you were born. So it's peaked. We have lost already 30, under the Tory government, we lost, the last administration, we lost 30,000 oil jobs, 70,000, it's a declining market.
Except, though, what the industry says
we should be talking
about, which is we could be juicing a lot more oil from the North Sea.
Not a lot more.
Rosebank was discovered in 2003 and still hasn't had a single drop of oil extracted from it. We haven't done any new exploration. There could be a lot more oil there. And the last new oil field we found, what, 22 years ago, and we still haven't started drilling it.
So under the Tories, we actually accepted that it was a declining oil field. What the disgrace of what's happening right now is, I am much older than you. I have been through 5 oil crises. Every time it's a warning to us that we need to diversify away from our addiction to oil, and we don't do it. And the disgrace is, for the last 14 years of the Tory administration, they blocked progress in actually electrifying our homes and electrifying our transport, so we're not again held hostage to another Israeli war.
Yeah, but again,